Ali, you're eating too many chips. Aren't you going to get overweight, man?
You know what? I'm actually on a diet. This is me spoiling.
Is this your diet?
And the only reason I got this, no. You know, I'm becoming. I watched that documentary. What the hell?
I haven't seen that. No.
You have to see it.
Say hello to the. We're live streaming.
Hello,
guys.
Okay, yeah, I've become like kind of on the verge to vegetarian. After I watched that documentary, I've cut down on meat, right, like big time.
Right.
But every now and then, when I go to Tesco, you get a meal deal. This comes with it, so I'm like, okay. I'll have it every now and then. But yeah, you're doing this. You're juicing.
I finished juicing. I'm a vegan, so I don't eat meat now.
That's hard. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, good food. My wife is a very good cook.
Yeah, I've changed like meat to tofu. You know tofu?
Yes, I know tofu. Yeah. I've had that.
Now more. Instead of having like red meat, chicken, I try to have more seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm cutting down on meat.
Who do you think around the park here that's here today that I can ask that's quite knowledgeable on the Quran? Because I've got an expert coming onto my show next week, and I want to get a couple of Muslims that understand it very well to come on and have a conversation. So people who know like the Quran quite well and the Hadiths or some of them. Who do you think?
Who's coming on the show?
A non-Muslim who's quite well versed in the Quran, speaks Arabic.
What's his name?
Christian Prince.
I heard of him.
Yeah. Because some people think he's very smart. I don't know. I've watched some of his videos, but I want to get some Muslims on that understand it quite well.
Let me speak to one guy because I can remember one brother. He was keep referring to Christian Prince and how Christian Prince is avoiding him. I'm going to speak to him.
Is he here? No, not yet.
He's in a group that we're in. I'm going to ask him because I heard his name before. All I heard is.
Do you want to come on and talk? I mean, I don't know how knowledgeable you are on the Quran.
No. I'm the last person.
Oh, okay.
Why not, Ali, man? Come on, bro. You need to represent, brother.
You need to know your weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah?
I
like your shades, though, bro. I like your shades, bro.
It's not shades, it's prescription. Check it out.
Hey, this guy's good.
Take my glasses. Wear it.
So, do you think somebody like Hijab would be good, or?
No, they make me dizzy.
Brother, Zishan, I love your videos.
And
Too funny, I think.
he'll be good.
What do you think? Because here's the thing, this guy doesn't mind whatever you bring. I don't even need to tell him. What do you think's the strongest argument out of the Quran that you could give a non-Muslim where you base it on the Quran?
Sometimes you lose the message just rolling.
What did you say is like the best thing in the Quran? Not the cosmological and that sort of stuff, but what's the best thing that you can interpret out of the Quran, Quranic verses, or the Hadith that makes you like?
Bring a chapter like it, but that's again they might say that's Arabic.
Okay, but this guy's like Arabic.
Find errors of contradiction.
Any errors or contradictions? So it could be scientific, it could be words that are...
Scientific, because we don't claim Quran is a book of science. So we don't come and say, we don't fall into this thing of, oh look, this verse is talking about that. We don't read into it. That was the mistake some people.
Yes, I wish you could tell every Muslim.
But the thing is, how we do it, we're balanced. So we don't say there is verses, all the verses are talking about science. Neither do we outright reject it. We're balanced. We say, look, if it goes with the Quran, for example, the scientific claim, whatever it may be, we take it. Anything that doesn't, now what we mean by that is that science changes every now and then. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So because of that, you can't come and say, this is a verse. Because science tomorrow come and say, no, we've got to go look. For example, expansion of the universe. At one point, some of them will come up and say, no, the universe is not expanding.
Yeah.
So science changes. That's why you can't use that as a yardstick.
Okay, so why don't you just ditch science completely there and just say I've got faith in the book? Because otherwise, from my point of view, it sounds like you're cherry picking. You're taking the bits that match, you are leaving the bits that don't match.
No, we have no problem with science. Like I said before.
Yeah, but you do though. You just said you have.
No, but you need to understand what you mean by that. We don't have a problem with science. Science, there was a lot of Muslim scientists in history. If we had a problem with science, it's not like the church where they start killing scientists and all these people.
No, but we're not talking about that.
No, but what I'm saying is, in Islamic history, you don't find Muslims going and killing people who are discovering the world. We don't have a problem with science.
But we're not talking about that at all, though.
No, we are talking about that because the thing is, you're saying, why don't you outright reject it?
No, why don't I? Yeah.
Science plays a big role in our lives.
Like what?
Medicine, biology, everything. So that goes in hand.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when people talk about science and they match it to the Quran. Why do you, like you say?
That's wrong,
Okay.
You're using science, like it's a divine yardstick, that if the Quran doesn't match it,
Yeah.
there's a problem with the Quran.
Okay,
No, it's the other way around. If there's a problem, the problem is with...
Gotcha. That's with science, right?
If I come to this park, I just have a nice conversation, and then it turns into like...
Yeah, well, you're famous here, aren't you?
Yeah, I didn't want this to happen. But yeah. So
We can walk away somewhere else.
No, done.
Okay, so what you really mean is, when it comes to the Quran, we mustn't use science, but we can use it outside of in our daily lives, but we shouldn't refer to the Quran and say there's a miracle of science in the Quran. We shouldn't do that. Yeah, would that be fair?
We can, but to say this definitely means this and this goes with this scientific claim is wrong. Why? Because that could change. What are you going to do then?
Well, exactly. That's your.
Science? Are you going to blame the Quran? No. So it's a wrong perception to use. So what we're saying is, yes, there might be a version of the Quran which is like, okay, this correlates quite nearly. Can be, but we're not going to come and say, you know what, yes, there definitely is,
Okay, so can you tell that message to all the Muslims? Because I still get loads of Muslims saying that there's scientific proofs in the Quran. So can you just give a message to all Muslims and say they mustn't say that?
No, I'm not going to say they mustn't say that. They need to say it with terms and conditions, yeah?
What is your terms and conditions?
So you can't just come outright and say, this is what it's saying, because if science tomorrow changes that, then what are you going to do? Because science changes every now and then. They find new information.
It improves. I'd use the word improves, but yes, changes are made.
Or it finds mistakes and
Yeah.
corrects that. So what we're trying to say is, because it's a method that's going to be continuously improving, yeah, and it cannot come and say, for example, solidly, this is what it is. Like, for example, the universe.
Do you think there's some things that science has proven beyond any reasonable doubt that will virtually never change? Do you think?
Like what?
Okay, so like the Earth orbits the sun. Do you think that there's any chance that we'll suddenly find out that's not the case?
See, you can't. That's a very. You cannot say absolute in science.
Okay, but nobody uses the word absolute,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
Only you do. I don't.
So we can't. Sorry, he's just looking for me.
Oh, there is.
So
We'll ask him.
You can't say absolutely that this will never change. You never know. Like, for example, we believe like gravity, even though I don't know much about it, you know better than me. Some people come and say about, no, there's no such thing as gravity. We never know. In the future, they might say, you know what, there is no gravity, there is no pressure, or whatever. So these things can change. What we're saying is, there is not absolute, that science cannot be absolute. However, it can, like, for example, like you said about the sun, yes, that's something that we can take. If, for example, the Quran or Hadith says such a thing,
Yeah.
we say, you know what, that correlates. What we see is the Quran is the next, look at it, like all religions.
It's all these chips.
You're recording me.
Yes, and he's eating all these Dorito.
Can't see.
We are live here, and Ali is eating his Dorito chips. Okay, that's fine. There you go. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah. Mohammed, before you go away. Oh, he's gone. There you go.
Yeah, basically what he's saying.
No. Besides that, I want to ask him something.
No, but this is really important. You know, we've discussed this in his house. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Science, like what Rob is saying, is that Muslims out there come and say the Quran is a scientific, for the scientific miracles. Yeah. You're serious with this. Yeah. Why are you doing it? So should Muslims go out and say yes, science, Islam has these miracles?
Basically, I think the argument should be a bit more refined, because obviously when we come here, we talk about how, like, for example, science is not encouraging.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
So we've made the point that science is not something which is absolutely.
Yeah, but nobody says it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't go. If we take that as a premise, we can't say on the one hand that science is not something which is.
You're supposed to be on. Look at this. He says he's on diet, and what do you have in there? That's your fault. Okay, he's tempting him. Yeah. Okay, right. Right. There you go. Was that part of your meal deal as well?
No, this was a
No. Yeah. Yes, that was your dessert. Okay.
I have carrots instead.
You've got to treat yourself.
So I just wanted Ali to say to all Muslims that they shouldn't say that the Quran has got scientific miracles, right?
There's a middle ground.
Yeah.
So, what I was saying was that science is not perfect in the sense that it can change.
Yeah, everybody says that. Nobody says that. Yeah. So I gave him an example though of the Earth going around the sun. Do you think there's any chance that will change?
There's always a chance.
Okay, so we're not talking philosophical, we're talking about a practical chance that it will change.
I don't think so. I don't subscribe to that. But I would say that there's always a chance, because you can't eliminate chance from observation. Yeah. And do you know what? Let me say something.
Unless you want to play, hard solipsism or radical skepticism. But yeah, in the world that most humans exist in.
Let me tell you something. Right? You know, this is how I categorize it, and I've thought about this quite a lot.
Right.
Yeah? I categorize it in the following way.
Yep.
The weakest of science, in my opinion, are those scientific theories which are unobserved. Yeah? That's the weakness of science. It doesn't mean that it's wrong just because comparative to the observable, it's not as strong. What I'm saying is the weakness of science is that. So for example, physics. I believe that physics is incredibly changing. Like for example, quantum physics. There are paradoxes between the quantum reality and the macro reality. There are problems, right? And there are
but that's...
and? So that's for me. Number two is now coming from that. The strongest of science is observable things. That which you can actually see, yeah? Those things you can actually see. That's my opinion.
Right.
But even those things that you can actually see can change. And you know, in 1690, there was the wave theory of light. Yeah, the wave theory of light was propounded by Christian. I remember his surname. Yeah, but in 1690, the wave theory of light suggested that there was some intermediary force in the air called ether.
Ether, yeah.
Ether, yeah?
Yes.
So that basically up until the up until like maybe
why did,
that was kind of changed.
Why did they drop that though?
They changed, even, by the way, even in 1890, as far as I remember, yeah, there were mathematical models that came to reinforce the whole wave theory of light. Yeah?
Why did they drop it though?
They dropped it based on other observations.
So new evidence, yeah?
Yeah, new evidence, yeah. So,
but that's how science works, isn't it? So you've got a hypothesis, and then you test it and you falsify it or you confirm it.
But the point I'm making to you is that the strongest of science, which is that which is observed, can even be subject to criticism, as we just seen with this example, yeah?
Yeah, but that's why I gave you an example where I don't think any rational human being would criticize, would you? The Earth going around the sun, nobody here is going to say, do you know what? It's possible that can change and the sun will go around, apart from flat earthers.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. No, I mean, I would agree with you that...
Okay. So what would be your message to Muslims about Quran and science? What would you say?
I would say the following. I would say the middle ground is as follows. Let me be honest with you. Yeah? There are two different, what I've seen in terms of propaganda, are two extremes. There's an extreme which is attempting to say that all that you'll find in the Quran are verses which are concurrent with the 21st century scientific narrative, yeah? And I believe that's not correct.
Right.
The other extreme is to say that, look, the Quran has all these verses that are completely against science. That's another extreme. The truth of the matter is that you can have one verse, like for example chapter 21 verse 30, yeah?
What does that say?
The one that says that do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were one piece and then God separated them.
And they were split asunder.
Yeah.
Yes.
This verse has four interpretations according to Tabari, which is the major Mufassir, yeah? He says one of them, number two, the second one of them, is that it is in fact one piece and then it becomes cleft asunder, whatever, yeah? So that does support the scientific 21st century narrative.
Okay, but that's not what the book says, yeah?
However, three other opinions don't support that narrative. So for example, one of his opinions was about adjacency, like the earth and the heavens were adjacent to one another. Now that doesn't support the Big Bang Theory. The point I'm making to you is...
So we shouldn't use that verse, that's the best thing to say.
What I'm saying is, you can use it in such a way as wouldn't be certain about it. So you can't say for sure this verse is talking about the Big Bang.
Here's what will help you from my point of view. If all those verses you just said, hey, do you know what, they're metaphorical, they were there to enhance the message for the 7th century, because that's what the people understood, no problem.
We say they're literal verses, but this is what we say, yeah? This is our argument. We say, and it's a conditional argument, we say if you accept that science is a good barometer for truth, you'll find that Islam is the most closely correlated. If you say that science is a good barometer for truth, you will find that Islam is the most closely correlated ancient religion to the scientific discourse of the 21st.
Do you mean the scientific discoveries we've made?
Yes.
So, well, you've just said that that's not the case with this cleft asunder, yes?
No.
There's one that
I've
says...
said that,
yeah.
And remember the words I'm using are very, very nuanced, yeah? So I say if, that's the first thing, conditional. I'm putting the onus on you. If you consider the 21st century scientific narrative as potent and a good barometer for truth, then Islam is the most closely correlated religion to the scientific discourse of the 21st century.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, that's
so,
our argument. We're not saying there should be absolutely...
Okay, but what evidence have you got for that, though?
So, okay, like for example, if you pick out any... Like, if we compare it with...
Choose the cleft asunder one, because that's the one you brought it.
Alright, so, look, the biblical discourse, comparative to the Quranic discourse, is an interesting comparison, yeah? Because when you look at the Bible, you'll find like...
No, but don't talk about the Bible.
No, but let me tell you why. Because my claim was about other religions. It was comparative to other religions. It was a relative claim. So
Okay,
well,
but
let me just give you an example. Yeah? So if you look at the Genesis account, I'm saying that you can only interpret that in one way, which is non-scientific according to the 21st century narrative. The Islamic account of creation as per the Quranic discourse can be in line with exactly what we know of how the universe came into existence as per the Big Bang Theory. But it doesn't mean that it definitely is. And that's why I think the balance is done. So if you are a fan of science and you believe science is something which can guide you to truth, and you believe in God, then Islam is the only ancient religion for you, basically. If you
I'm sure Josh would disagree with you, yeah? So maybe you should have...
I spoke to him about it before.
Right.
He agreed that a lot of it is metaphoric.
Right.
We're not resorting to that. We're saying all the verses that refer to creation are literalistic.
Okay, but you gave me 4 different interpretations and only one that kind of agrees in your world, the other 3 don't.
Agree. Yeah,
so if you got a 3-to-1, what would you say to a Muslim who comes and uses that verse and says, hey...
I would say to them, be careful.
Why don't you just say don't use it?
Well, that's my approach to it.
Yeah.
Is be careful, because I would say, look, you can use it in so much as it supports your argument, but you can't use it as a fundamental part of your argument. Because if, for example, as you know, there are other models like inflation model, eternal inflation. If, for example, this becomes more popular tomorrow, is it going to be the case that you're going to try and look for another tafsir that suits the popular
That's
discourse?
the problem you guys have, yes.
It's a problem that anyone can have, right? So the interpretation of scripture.
But if you're basing your beliefs on an older book, yes, you're always going to have to try and match it.
Okay.
And that's going to be... So your methodology is different to science, would you agree? So all theists look in the world and they go, how does it match my book? Science goes, let's look at the world and see whether it's true or false.
That's a good question.
So it's like a difference, isn't it?
From an Islamic perspective, we're given instruction to do science in a way which is indiscriminatory. So we don't look at our book. The scientific method was actually propounded by Ibn Haytham, who was an Arab person.
Yeah.
Right, so that was then passed down. So the point is, science should always remain neutral. I want to say, let's impose a religious thing on it.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying for you, shouldn't it be better where you just say, I believe the book on faith, I'm not going to bring the word science into my belief at all, because then you're safe, aren't you, from your point of view?
Well, I mean, this is what we can say. We can say we believe in science in so much as it doesn't disagree with what we epistemologically believe is more strong, which is the revelation from the all-knowing God.
Yeah, but where it does disagree, what happens then?
Then you have to take the nas over so you have to take the Islamic discourse over the science.
Okay, but that's why I'm saying it's a cherry picking from my point of view, and saying, hey, I'll take the ones that fit. As soon as they don't fit, I'm going to take the book over the science.
Yeah, because the book is more stable than science.
This book is what?
The book is more stable than science.
The book is more stable.
Yeah, so look.
But science changes. The Quran, if it's a statement, that's it. It's not going to come and say, hey, we'll change it around science.
Okay, so it's really unfalsifiable, really, isn't it? That's kind of what you're saying if we reinterpret it.
And we believe
But then just to be consistent, all you need to say is, you know what, Rob, I'm not going to use science at all, because the book, you just said it, the book is absolute, or the book is consistent. I don't need to even look at science.
Whatever goes with it.
Say again?
Confusing.
Yeah, but that's cherry picking.
Confusing scientific falsificationism with logical falsificationism. And there's a difference between them.
Go on, educate us.
With scientific falsification, which is propounded by Karl Popper and his likes, is based on the inductive method, yeah? But you can have some kind of falsification methods outside of science. Like, for example, in mathematics, you have proofs. Like proof by contradiction, proof by this and proof by that. And we're saying the same thing as would apply in maths, applies with the Islamic Quranic discourse. Just like in maths, you can prove something to be true using a proof called proof by contradiction. I'm saying the same thing applies with the Quranic discourse.
Okay, but then leave science.
No.
Because now you're talking about maths.
We're not talking about science now.
Right.
Yeah. So we're saying these are logical precepts which are applicable in such things as mathematics, which also the Quran uses and utilizes. So one of the falsification tests of the Quranic discourse is to try and find a contradiction in it.
What do you mean by contradiction, though? So if somebody brought in and said that verse, if you carry on, the verse says the heavens and earth were split asunder and we created man from water.
Every living thing.
Every living thing. And so we know that's not true, isn't it? So again, would you take that as metaphorical? Because we're not created from water, we contain water. There's a difference, isn't it?
No. That's a different understanding.
That's like,
what do you mean? Everybody does.
Let me get a cup. You're
Okay, what is the constituents of human beings that we need to survive?
Say we're created.
What does it say?
وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي. There's a difference with the word جعل and خلق in Arabic.
So what do you think
So the word جعل, it means that we have made from water every living thing. So in other words,
that's not what some of the translations saying, so you're choosing your one now.
I'm a native speaker of Arabic.
Okay, good. On that point, good, you're a native speaker. Do you want to come next Friday? I've got a native Arabic speaker who's non-Muslim, but he's on my channel. Can I take your details? Are you available next Friday, 8 p.m.?
We're going to be in Sweden. We're going to be
8 p.m.? Well, okay, so that'll be 9 p.m. your time.
24th to the 27th.
Yeah, and can you be there or not? What do you do?
No, we'll be in Sweden.
Oh, but it's online. It's online.
That's online, so you just go online.
Maybe next week after that.
No, I've got him on next week. And he's an expert.
I'll give you my number.
Okay.
And then we'll try and sort it out. But do you get how we work with it now?
Yeah, I still don't agree with it, but there we go. Because you kind of...
I think me and you are actually...
I just think you shouldn't use science. Just take away science from the Quran and then we're fine.
Some people would say that. I'm saying that let's use science in a way which is balanced.
No, which agrees with the Quran when you want to, and then let it go.
Don't use science to attack Islam. Not attack, but disprove.
So again,
Don't you use science to disprove Islam?
well, if somebody gives me a claim,
then why should
I'll come and get your number. Yeah.
then why should we use
Yeah, sure.
science?
No, but I will only bring in science if you make some kind of scientific claim. If you don't make a scientific claim, I'm not going to counter you with science necessarily.
No, you should know. Those who are atheists, they use science. Oh, look, we live in this era now.
But depends what your claim is. So, like,
The atheists using it in general and say, look, this is what it is.
so when Muhammad said that he's got a different interpretation, the English translations I've read, yeah, well, the translations I've read says man was created from water, or every living thing was created from water.
So
Do you
it doesn't change that. There is not absolute contradiction you're going to find in science with the Quran.
Okay, so you don't claim that that's a scientific claim.
I don't think you can bring anything that's absolute where it's like,
No.
like okay, the science says, okay, we're made out of water, yeah?
Okay, but do you think that the Quran is true, literally true, that we are created, or all living things are created from water, not contains? We all know we contain some water. There's a difference between contains and created. Would you agree? Okay, let me give you an example.
We need to understand it like that, not understand it how.
My mobile phone, is that created from water?
There might be some elements here.
Okay, there's no elements of water in there.
No.
Do you agree?
For example, okay, I don't know how plastic is made.
Okay, but you know there's no water involved in my mobile phone.
But it's not something living, Rob. It's an every living thing.
Yeah. Okay, but the point is, we're talking about whether it's created or contains. Do you understand the difference?
That's just, you're just basically stumbling on the verse like, you're trying to make something that is not.
So I'm just reading it as it's there. I'm not trying to reinterpret it. If it says created, I'm looking and it says, okay, every living thing is created from water. Is that true, or is that the wrong translation, or what's that? No, we're not. Okay, so what do you think we're made of? What do you think? What is the thing that we require to be standing here on earth? If you roll it back, what's the thing that we require? What do you think? What's the most important thing, do you think? No. The heavy elements. Do you know what the heavy elements are? Do you understand? You've got a periodic table that shows elements. If there were no stars in the universe and it was just black, no human beings. Do you know why?
We know, but
Why?
that's the when you make a cup of tea, you need different things. Without the tea, now there's not going to be tea. No, water is in it. We're not. The Quran doesn't say we only need is water.
If the Quran said you contain water, I got no problem. If it says you created, and in fact that's a true translation, that's problematic, isn't it?
You are only made from water. There's different elements. There's everything plays a role.
If it says you are created from water,
No, but you're trying to understand it as that's it, nothing else.
well, I'm trying to understand exactly what the verse says. Should I do it in a different way?
No. It's simple. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we are made out of different stuff. Yeah? So the thing is, it doesn't mean it's a contradiction. It's a contradistinction. Meaning, if you want to make
A what? What did you say?
contradistinction.
A contradistinction.
Yes.
Is that something you just made up, or is that a real word?
It's a real word, check it out.
Okay, we'll see if that's an Ali Dawah word or a real one. I've got a feeling you've made that up.
I'm sure viewers know what I'm talking about, yeah? Contradiction is like you're saying, for example, okay, this is blue, and then, oh no, it's black, or it's yellow, yeah? What we're saying is to make a cup of tea, yeah? You need, for example, tea bag, you need a cup.
Okay, but I'm not interested in the tea bag, I'm interested in you.
No,
human being.
I'm more complex than a tea bag. I'm giving you the
Yeah,
most
but I'm not worried about
simple
complexity.
example. No, but I'm giving the most simple example so you understand the most complex example, yeah? The most simple example is that it's tea. How do you make tea? Sugar, hot water, carb, tea bag, etc. Yeah? So that's what makes a cup of tea. What are we made out of? Water, the elements that you said.
What are you created from?
Bro,
Are you created from water?
yes, that's a part of it. That's an ingredient. That's an ingredient in the mix.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
You're dancing, Ali. You're dancing.
I'm not
Because I've been very clear.
dancing.
If we didn't have the stars, which created the heavy elements, because in
I've answered it. You're
the
jumping
no, you haven't.
Yes, I
You've
have.
given me a teabag
I've
example
given-
as if
I've contradicted
that's some.
what you don't know. You need to look into that first.
No, I don't need to worry about contradictions.
No, if
I want you to
then
answer the
understand
question.
my point. No, if you don't know what contradistinction means, then there's no point in me speaking. First, you need to look into what that means. Then you will understand what I'm
No,
saying.
all I want from you is an explanation of how we're created from water. When I've told you, scientifically speaking, we are created from the heavy elements, which are only made available in the stars. What?
No. Okay, is that the only thing that we're made of?
No, but without those, we couldn't be here. That's what we created from.
Nobody said that. We can't be here. I'm saying, are they the only elements?
Yes, they're the only elements. Without those, we couldn't be here.
No, are they the only elements that were made out?
All the heavy elements,
Yes.
plus hydrogen, helium from the Big Bang. All those elements,
Yes.
we need them. If there was some of those missing, no human beings.
Okay, what
Yes,
else would we need besides that?
all of those elements. That's the primary thing that we need to be here today. Yep.
know
Do you
that.
understand it?
Yeah.
So if the Quran had said, "Hey Allah, we created you from the furnace of exploding stars," I'd be going, "Holy crap!"
No.
That's quite amazing because that's what we
No, you
need
wouldn't.
to be here.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes.
Because
I'm going, how would somebody know that?
Find an excuse from.
No, but
Even if the Quran said that, you find an excuse.
why?
You would, bro. You would
On
say-
what basis are you saying that?
That's what I'm trying. Because we've spoken before. We're not. I don't
Okay, so you feel I'm unreasonable. I'll always find an.
No,
I'll always.
it's unreasonable, but I would say, even if we bring the evidence, you're not here to accept. We're here to, and that's why me and you, I don't think we'll really get nowhere because I don't believe.
Okay, but
don't
remember,
need some reasoning,
you making the claim. I'm coming here to listen to you. I don't come here going, "Hello, believe in this." You come here and say, "Believe this." I'm asking you when you come and say that. Give me the reasons why. We're not on the same level when it comes to making claims here, because you are saying Islam is true. All I'm saying is I deny that claim.
But it's not about
So-
Islam. It's about the Quran. What we're trying to say, you're saying that. Are you trying to say Allah said that only water is the only element that you are made from?
I'm saying that there's a verse in the Quran.
Does Allah say only water?
You were created from water.
Yes.
What do you understand by that?
That means that is one of the core elements for our survival.
Okay, but were you created from it? Was there a drop of water and then a human being came from that?
I've answered it. Now you're twisting it. I've answered it to Rob.
Okay, we'll let the viewers decide, I guess.
Like 2 seconds silence. You understood it.
Because if the universe had expanded and there was no stars, there'd be no humans. Do
That's irrelevant.
you accept
Well,
that?
that's irrelevant.
No, it's
We
not.
were talking about water, and we said that's one of the elements that helps us survive.
That's why I said to you, if the verse was improved to say that humans were created from the heavy elements, which are only available in stars, I would say that's quite amazing.
You want the Quran to be a book of science where Allah's going to come
Well,
and say, you was made of
you made
this.
the claim.
It would be a massive book if Allah told us, exactly what you made of, what element was.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That's what I'd expect from a God.
No.
Oh, I shouldn't expect that. My bar's too high. Okay, I apologize.
It's not a bar. The thing is, you're not even expecting you're not even accepting the minimum, yet alone the.
What's the minimum? No, I don't want a low bar. It's a high God. I want a high bar.
No. See,
Yeah.
what this means is that now you're deifying yourself. You're saying me, I'm an important.
No.
You're saying this is what it means. I spoke to you last time, yeah? You're saying you have your conditions for God. Last time we spoke.
Yes, I have conditions, correct.
You said I would want God to be like this.
Yes.
I would come and say, you know what? I don't want God to be like that. I want it to be the opposite. So now we're putting conditions on God. I want God to be a God who on Friday sends me strawberries. You're going to say no.
Okay, but there's no good being silly now.
No, I'm not being silly. I'm giving
Yes,
you
you
an
are.
example. I'm not. No. If I said I want God to every Friday send me strawberries, and you say no, I don't want a God that gives me strawberries. I want a God that gives me mangoes. Now what we're doing is we're choosing how God should be. It's the other way around. God is who He is, and you need to accept it. You can't come up with terms and conditions of I want God to be like this, like the Christians. Oh, we want God to be all loving.
Well, by the way, I don't know what that means anyway.
No. They're saying like, for example, anyone Hitler, this guy is calm. God should love Hitler. Yeah, that's what they're saying. We're saying no, God is also just. They say no, we love everybody. Everyone.
By the way, just on that point, do you think God's love is a positive attribute? Is it like something good? Is love a positive attribute? Is God the most powerful being available that we can think of? So if the attribute goodness, let's call it love, is not at its maximum, what would you say then? Would that be the God that you want to worship?
So then you put conditions on God again.
No, I'm asking.
You're saying God's love has to be, for example, like this. You can't decide that. This is God. You know when I said
So I just got to accept whatever you and everybody else claim.
No. You know when I said to you like, yeah?
We're talking about it.
No, but hear me out. You're
don't talk about the fitra, please.
Yourself like you have to condition God. This is arrogant. This means you're saying I don't care.
Ali, you are misconstruing the position. You bringing me a claim. If I brought you an invisible dragon in my backyard claim, are you going to have conditions to believe that? I'm just talking about the conditions. Are you going to say to me, Rob, I'm going to believe it? Or are you going to say to me, I've got some conditions in order to believe that?
No. Yes, but these conditions, what are these conditions? You can come and say, for example, we can go back to the argument of, can something come from nothing?
No, don't go there.
There you go. No, can something come from nothing, Rob?
Yes.
Give me one example.
Virtual particles.
Sorry?
Virtual particles.
Sorry?
Virtual particles.
Virtual?
Yes.
What does that mean? What does the word define?
Okay. Have you heard of the Casimir effect?
What does virtual mean?
That means particles that come in and out.
What does the word virtual?
Are you telling me or are you asking me?
I'm asking.
Okay, so if you ask me, then don't tell me.
Can you check out what does virtual mean? Because I heard of virtual reality, like it's not real.
Yeah, well, don't compare the two. It's just a term that science gives to particles that pop in and out of existence so fast we can't measure it, but we can measure their effects. Have you heard of the Casimir effect? Have you heard of the Casimir effect? Okay, so if I explain it wouldn't make any difference probably to you, but at least I would explain it to you. So scientists have created a vacuum box, a box that has no particles, nothing in it, except to...
How could they make something that has nothing in it?
Because they take everything out of it. So
No. How can they take everything out? Like, for example, a virtual particle is not a particle at all. It refers precisely to a disturbance in a field that is not particular. A particle is a nice, regular ripple in the field, one that can travel smoothly and effortlessly through space, like a clear tone of bell moving through the air. So I would say to this virtual particle,
yes.
Have you seen it? Have you tasted it? Have you observed it?
We've observed the effects.
No, not the effects. Dark matter.
Have you seen gravity?
Dark matter, yeah?
Yes.
Have we observed it?
We've seen the effects.
No. See, this is what I'm saying. We have seen the effects of God.
Yes.
Same argument.
Say again?
We have seen the effects of God. Look.
Okay, but they have scientific, theoretical, mathematical models, etc. that prove. Have you got the same for God? Then it's on the same field.
This proves our point, yeah? Dark matter, we can't see, we can't smell, we can't taste, we can't observe, but it exists.
No.
Yes.
We say we can observe the effects. What is the effects?
We can observe the effects of God.
Wait, where's the effects?
Look around you.
No, I see natural effects.
Exactly, because it's not it's not the eyes that are blind, it's the heart.
All right.
Yes, because we were observing. I'm looking around, my fingerprint, the way I'm manufactured, and this is a simple example I gave you before. Yeah, I gave you an example of, for example, look, for example.
Okay, this is just by the way. Open that up so everybody can see he's on a diet here.
Why are you getting into my diet?
Because I would not want to see you when you're not on a diet.
No. I'm gonna.
You'll be eating a house.
Yeah, no problem. Doesn't matter what I eat. Look, this is information, yeah? According to narrative of the letter, after Pilate did a terrible thing, I'm sure he did. Christians, this is what Christians, by the way, but I'm using it for atheists. Yeah, this is called the forgery, yeah, the Bible being forged.
And what's your point there?
My point is this. This is information. Yes? This is information, yeah? Can we
It's letters that we put together, yes.
Yes, obviously. It's information. If there's information, it requires intelligence. Yes? When you look at this,
You mean written? What you mean is written words.
When you see this information, you say this came by chance, or you say there's intelligence behind.
We say that a human wrote that, yes.
Okay. So when we look into a strand of the DNA, yeah, that is more complex than every single book.
How do you establish that?
Yeah. Well, this is what the scientists have claimed.
What, the DNA is more complex than a book?
No, a single strand of the DNA.
Yes.
Yeah, is if you compound every single book on this planet, it doesn't come next to it. The information that's inside it. Yeah. So I showed you a single book. Yeah. And there's information. This information requires intelligence. Yeah. The DNA. We need to no double standards. If the DNA has more information than every single book on this planet, what did we say? Information requires intelligence. We go to the DNA, more complex. Information requires intelligence.
It's just so simple, isn't it? Why didn't I think of that?
I know, exactly. That's what I'm asking. Why did you think of it?
Because we got naturalistic answers for those things.
So
I know.
what did I say to you? You will not accept it.
Yeah, but that's not an extraordinary claim, though.
Rob, this is an extraordinary claim, but it's for somebody that can grasp it. You're not grasping. You've closed your mind to it. You have said, you know what? I don't care what these guys.
Should I accept something that's supernatural before natural?
This is supernatural. The DNA. I think the DNA and how it's programmed.
Okay, how do you understand supernatural? Is that outside this universe or in this universe?
Okay, if you're going to the actual definition, it's phenomena that happens outside.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, if we're going to go down with wow, this the wow factor, the DNA gives you a massive wow factor compared to this. You know what I'm trying to say? So
okay, so what's a wow factor got to do with it,
wow
then?
Factor is this: you don't deny this, but you deny the DNA. Contradiction, double standards, hypocrisy at its highest.
Okay, so what am I denying? I'm denying the information in the DNA.
Denying the intelligent design.
Yes, I am.
Even Richard Dawkins
Correct.
does it.
Yeah, of course.
Richard Dawkins does it. You know, he says,
Well, every non-believer does that.
He says aliens. Why would you call them aliens? Who made the alien? You know what it is? It's like, you know what? We will say anything besides God.
What was that?
Blue elephant, a red dragon, a blue donkey.
Okay, you're taking it out of context, are you? Did you see the movie where Dawkins talked about that?
Yeah, he had to fix it up.
No, he didn't.
He did, he had to fix it.
Ben Stein had to fix it up. Do you know what the question was? The question that they asked Dawkins was, is it possible that somehow life could have come on Earth? And he went, well, one of the options would be maybe superior aliens seeding something on Earth. Then you hear the guy go, Richard Dawkins believes in intelligent design. That's what he said. Yes? All he said was that an alien could have seeded life here.
Okay.
Is that impossible?
No.
Good.
No, I'm okay with that.
Oh, good. You're
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, well, not because that contradicts the Quran, though.
No, it doesn't.
Because if the alien planted life here,
No.
then it wouldn't have come from
What that shows.
clay and a plot of blood.
No. The argument you asked is who made the alien.
No, but that's not.
It still supports me because he's going with the most absurd claim of aliens, like believing in blue dragons and like you said, yeah, these fairy tale stories, yeah? We're talking about intelligent design.
Oh. There's the coppers. Got to get out the way for the boys here. The boys in blue. Coming through, making sure all is safe.
The police came from nothing. They will feel insulted if I said that. So if I said the police came from nothing, they'll feel insulted. You've been insulted, haven't you?
What sort of intelligence would this be?
Huh?
What sort of intelligence would this be?
What was it?
Which intelligence?
He's talking about.
Well, God,
These
obviously.
intelligence, yeah. What sort of but does this intelligence, I mean the only intelligence I know has to have a brain. So the only intelligence I know has to have a brain.
That's a what?
A brain.
A brain.
See, there you go. You're limited. Uncle, when you have limited thinking, you can't come to something else. Like, let me give you an example. If a man, if in an island there's a man, and you bring him here, yeah? And he comes here and he sees me under my phone, yeah? And I'm talking. And he hears my phone talking back, yeah? He's going to go back to his tribe and be like, I went to this place and I saw a man holding a metal piece and he was talking. And the metal piece was talking back at him. So his tribe is going to say, hold on a second. Because with their limited thinking, they're going to be like, if that metal piece was talking back at him, it should have a mouth. If it has a mouth, it should have a tongue. If it has a tongue, it should eat. So what they did is, because of the limitations that they have, the thing that they can deduct it to, is, if it talks, it has to have a mouth. If it has a mouth, it has to have a tongue. So that's what you're doing. You're saying, if it has intelligence, it has to have a brain. What you're doing is you're using your limited thinking and applying it to God.
Hang on a moment, but don't you do the same thing? When we talk about infinite, you tell me an actual infinite can't exist. Why not? Why not? How do you know it doesn't exist?
It doesn't show me that it does.
There you go, you're using your limited thinking. You've just accused him of doing the same thing. Come on, Ali, be consistent.
When he's giving his example, he's talking about high intelligence. I'm talking within our realm.
Yes, our realm. He says there's nothing outside of our realm that we understand. You've said the same thing.
Because you don't understand it, you don't give it false attributes of it has a brain. You can say, I don't understand it, I understand that. But my example of infinite is within our realm. What you're saying, Uncle, is you're using this to talk about things outside our realm.
No, I'm not doing that.
Well, you're saying it should have a brain, and I'm like,
No,
that's not what
when you use the word intelligence, the only intelligence I know of has a brain.
Yes.
And the brain has a body. And so what?
Like I said before, that's
You use the word intelligence.
So
anyway, like I said, this argument, I think it's for itself. The nothing coming from something.
I saw a couple of guys walking out. They're pretty smart. Adnan and some other sheikh-looking fella. Are they people who will come on a show?
But I don't think they'll waste their time with it. Because Christian Prince, I need to look into that guy.
No, but all they have to do is refute it.
No.
I mean-
I know, but it depends on who. Like,
Why? Why doesn't-
James Smith is a compulsive liar. I'm not going to waste my time with him.
Yeah, but you can show verses, then you can
I know,
prove him wrong.
But he's a liar. We go and say to this, he's a liar. I can't. So Christian Prince is someone I've heard of. I need to look into it.
Okay.
That's why.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. There we go. We will go and see if we can get hold of Hijab and a few other guys. See if we can actually get anybody who wants to come on Friday. But I think Ali has contradicted himself on at least one occasion there, so if not more. So let's go and see what we can find. Guys, can I ask you a favour? Who's the knowledgeable guys? I'd like to get a couple of yourselves on my show next Friday. Who do you feel is quite knowledgeable on the Quran? Because I've got a non-Muslim who speaks Arabic who's quite knowledgeable. Mansur, is he knowledgeable? They're all pointing at you. They're pointing.
You come to my show. I'm going to have a show soon.
No, but do you want to? Do you do anything online?
No, you come to my show and you can get the footage. Yeah, he's asking if you
Oh, you don't do it online.
He's asking
Okay.
do a live
What kind of show is this?
So like online, like a Titans TV, but my own one, where I will moderate, and we have somebody who speaks Arabic and who believes he understands the Quran.
Debate, or is it going to be
A discussion. So all I will do is moderate, and you just have the talk backwards and forwards. Is that?
who else is
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does.
Why?
It does. Because from our past experience with atheists.
No, it's not atheist. He's a
you are
Christian.
an atheist, right?
Yeah, I'm an atheist, but he's a Christian. So
You're
I'm
controlling the mics, right?
yes. All I do is let you guys talk.
We've had some experience. You know, Gin
Yes.
and Tonic show.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, once-
That's my show now. It used to be somebody else's.
Gin
I
and
run
Tonic.
it now. Yes,
Right, okay.
I personally run it.
Hamza Zorzis once he.
Yes, that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, 4 people against 1, and he
Yeah.
was hardly given a chance to speak.
Okay.
So that's why I like these open debates where we can control our mics.
Yeah, but not everybody can
control
come here. Yeah, but not everybody can come here, can they? And some of the experts are not here. I'm sure you'd agree.
I don't know if I'm keen on online discussions like that. Even on
pick him up and bring him here.
Yeah, even with
The man's in, I
Kalam.
think he's somewhere in the US or something. I don't know. A bit difficult to bring him here.
Yeah.
so-
So if anyone wants to debate, we're open to debates. As you know, we are out in public.
Yeah,
we are
but
here.
like I said, they
Anyone
can't
can
come
and
there.
ask us questions, and we will be happy to answer. But on a debate like that online, where mics are controlled and where
Well, controlled in the sense that you two talk. That's it.
Okay.
So I would be the moderator because one's a Christian, one's obviously a Muslim.
Why did you choose to be a moderator?
Well, A, because it's my show, but B, so that both people can speak. Because I have heard people
I
complain.
have two. I mean, as a Muslim, I have 2 people against me: an atheist and a Christian. Because
How am I against you, though?
in the sense that you're not a Muslim, you debate
Yeah.
against Islam and Muslims, right?
Sure,
You do,
yeah,
right?
yes.
And there's a
But same with
Christian-
Christians,
there's
but-
a Christian who's debating against Islam and Muslims.
Yeah.
So I'm defending Islam alone.
Okay, but aren't you comfortable doing that, though?
I don't mind, but as long as it's an open discussion.
That's what I want to do.
It would undermine his own credibility if he was trying to make things favourable for the other person. But do you think you know anyone who would be happy doing an online
I don't know
for his show?
I don't know. But I'm more than happy to have an open discussion.
Yeah, here it's, I mean, that's fine here, but
If you want to have a discussion with me now, you're more than welcome.
okay, but I'm not an expert on the Quran, right? So, but there are people who claim to be, and so that's why we want to find out: are they experts or not? Especially if they're non-Muslim. That's why I want to see.
Why don't we have a balanced discussion?
How do we do that?
Bible and the Quran.
Well, you can do that, but you've got to start with one thing, don't you?
Yeah, Bible and the Quran.
Okay, so do you want to do
Start with the Bible.
do you want to do 1 hour, 1 hour? Would that be fine?
Who's the person? under
Christian
the-
Prince.
Who?
Have you heard of Christian Prince?
Who is he? No.
He's an online guy that he's a Christian. He's an Islamophobe.
Yeah.
What is an Islamophobe?
Someone who hates Islam. Someone who
but-
has no
but-
other.
but it
who
doesn't
has
matter
no
if he
other
hates-
motive to debate Muslims
Okay, but
except to tarnish Islam.
let's assume that was the case.
It's not going to be an honest
Adnan.
discussion. Yeah.
Okay, let's assume that's.
Do you know James White?
Yes, I've heard of it.
I respect
Yes.
him a lot.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe he's an Islamophobe. Some people do claim that he is one, but I don't believe he is because he puts an effort into understanding the Muslim mindset, the Muslim theology, the Muslim way of thinking. But others, there are people from the US,
who wouldn't debate, not because we don't have any responses to them. It's because they're the way they are.
Okay, but as long as they are polite, does it matter?
It's not the issue of politeness.
What is it then?
Bring them to the park.
He's a liar.
They're in the US.
And then we can debate.
He's a liar.
You can't talk to a liar.
He's a liar.
Okay, but people need to demonstrate that. It's no good just saying that.
Yeah, but my experience.
But if it's so
My
easy,
experience with online debates is that you cannot always challenge your opponent as you can in a live debate, in a public debate, in-person debate. That's what my experience is.
Okay, but could it be...
That's why I prefer... There are many people who have got in touch with me online, and they want to debate me online. I don't want to do that. I always invite them to the park, come here.
Yeah, but not like I said, not everybody can come to the park. That's why I'm asking. So if it's not you, who is a knowledgeable Muslim?
Arrange a ticket for me. I'll fly into the US and I'll debate him. No problem.
Okay, so who's a knowledgeable Muslim here that wants to speak online?
Find out.
If he's in the US, it's a hangout. You know what a hangout is?
No, the best thing to do is get the guy to come to the UK and visit the park, and he can have as many debates.
Okay, but he wants to be able to reference the Quran and the tafsir and the hadiths immediately.
Worse than Jay Smith? You think he's worse than Jay Smith?
No, but instantly.
Yeah, we've been dealing with this guy.
Yeah,
for the
but
last
don't
10
worry
years.
about Jay Smith. I'm not asking about Jay Smith.
Yeah, so bring him to the park.
Okay, and then he's not going to come to the park. I just wanted to know if you want to have a debate or not. Because if it's so easy, I mean...
Nobody knows how he looks. Not online.
Yeah.
Because my experience with online debates has been always negative. You cannot always have an open discussion online, unfortunately. That's what,
okay,
that's
so
what my experience
have you
is.
ever had an online discussion where you've had an open debate? Or have you never had one? So it's always in your experience bad?
Yeah.
Ali Dawah might know someone who people-
That's why I prefer to have open discussion.
Sure, but not everybody can do that. That was the point.
That's,
okay. Right, okay.
Can I ask both of you a question?
Please.
What do rocks dream of? These rocks, what do they dream of?
As far as we know, rocks don't have any consciousness. So,
What do they dream of?
so I wouldn't expect them to dream.
Do they dream of anything?
I wouldn't expect them to dream now.
So I'm asking you, do they dream of anything or something or nothing?
Would they dream of something or anything of nothing? That's a misuse of the question. Rocks don't dream.
Yeah.
So that's
Since
it.
they don't dream, it's a dream of nothing, right? They don't dream of anything.
That's a concept though that you're making up. Yes.
No. Just to illustrate what nothing is, because
Okay, but it's a concept. Yes.
Since rocks don't dream, so what we know that they don't dream anything. We know can use what we understand by anything. So can this nothing that I've just explained now, what the rocks do, create the universe?
You tell me. That's your claim, isn't
That's
it?
the question I'm going to ask you and your scientists that you.
And the answer would be no, because we don't think. Well, I say we. I'm being a bit facetious. I mean, scientists don't think that version of nothing is in existence. It's like a concept you dreamt up, like I said, like an invisible dragon. So you're saying to me, it's a concept that has no meaning in reality.
In language, we know what nothing means. We know when we say that rocks dream of something, the answer is no, they don't dream of anything.
So that's a concept. Would you agree it's a concept?
Concepts are built from our languages, right? We have to have language to understand.
So when we're looking at
So let me clarify. Since they are not conscious, rocks, they don't dream. So they dream of nothing. So if I use the word nothing in my understanding of this statement,
yes,
what do you understand by the word nothing?
the absence of anything.
Good. Can that create the universe?
You tell me. I don't believe so, because you're equivocating. I have no reason to accept that version that you've just talked about has any meaning in reality in terms of the universe. That's why.
Forgive me, where's the equivocation?
Okay, so the equivocation is when he talks about the rocks having no thing, and then he wants to go, okay, to the universe, no thing, that's where the equivocation comes in. Because there's no scientific...
He didn't talk about it. He asked you whether that
Yes, yeah.
would create anything.
No, he didn't ask. Oh, that nothing. No, I don't believe so. Because
So where was your equivocation? He was not equivocating. He was asking you whether that nothing can give rise to anything. He was not talking about the universe.
okay, but he's talking about it from a rock's point of view and then going to the universe. They're two separate things.
He was not talking about any point of view. He was saying you accepted that there was a no thing there. And then he asked, could that no thing give rise to a thing? And you said no.
Yes.
Where is the equivocation?
Because the rock and the universe are not the same thing.
I'm not talking about a rock now. You're confusing me.
No, I'm answering his question. Yes.
No.
So that concept, no thing about the rock.
Nothing to do with rocks. No.
No, it does, my friend. That's why I'm trying to make the point.
Allow me to
Okay,
clarify.
you do it.
He asked you whether a rock dreams. No, what does a rock dream of? You say nothing, alright? So now we're no longer talking about the rock. We're talking about
a concept called no thing.
We are talking about the dream of the rock, i.e. the no thing.
Nothing, yes.
So this is not about the rock.
The absence of anything, yes?
Forget the rock now. We are going past the rock. So now we're saying, so that no thing,
concept that you've come up with the rock, from the rock originally.
Nothing to do with the rock. So that, people are talking about the fence.
Exactly.
It's got nothing to do with that. It has to do with that thing which is nothing. Can that give rise to a thing?
Yes. So let me ask you the question, Tariq. That's nothing that Mansur has spoken about. Is that a concept, or is it anything more than just something that's in our brain, like an invisible dragon? That's my question.
It is in our brain like an invisible dragon, but it is a concept that is relevant to the question of can things arise from it. It makes sense. That question does make sense.
But give me a reason why I should take that version of nothing seriously over number one's version of nothing.
Because we can ask that question of it.
That's not enough to take it. Just because we can ask a question doesn't mean that it exists in ultimate reality.
Well, the word existence is being oddly used by you. We are saying no thing. So the question of it existing is an odd use of language. If it's no thing, it's of course the word. No one said it existed.
So if I want to make sure I don't mischaracterize, if I summarize what you're saying, are you saying that because we can conceptualize something, then
you can ask questions of that conceptualization?
You can ask questions of it, but is there any reason to think that it has or can or will or in the past existed in our reality?
Who said it existed? A no thing does not exist. A no thing is a thing which does not exist.
Okay, so when we
say something is no, when we say that there is nothing, we are talking about the absence of existence. Right? So that's perhaps so. From the absence of existence, can existence arise? Perhaps that's a better way of stating it.
That's the question we're asking the scientists. Can non-existence give rise to existence?
And I'm guessing what the science will say to you is that the question is ill-posed. If your non-existence is version 2, if your non-existence is version 1, no problems. We've got the answer.
Version 1 is...
Okay, but scientists don't accept version 2, do they? They only accept version 1. Lawrence Krauss, any of the scientists you talk, find me, okay, here's my question to you or to Mansur. Find me a scientist, a cosmologist, that says, I'm happy to talk about version 2 of the universe coming into existence from that version 2. Find me one, I'd love to read it. Okay guys, we've been going 5 hours here in live stream. I hope it's been fun, entertaining, just giving you a view of what Speakers Corner is like. I might try and do this again, so hit the like button there, let me know in the comments if this is useful, and hopefully I'll be able to do some of this again in the future. This was the first time I've ever tried it, so who knows what we'll do. But if you liked it, if it was valuable, then let me know in the comments, hit the like button, and I will say good night to you from Speakers Corner in London.